Okay, so we can just start now, Sandeep and Darshana. So good evening and welcome to class. This is this is a story every Thursday. It's weekend there, so people are really busy. So either they are late or they are not attending the classes. So that is the thing. That is the thing. Okay. So today So you people are at home. Okay, this is the last class. Yeah, I know you have been having 3 classes in a row, isn't it? You started with class at 7:30 Indian timing. Then you'd be free. Okay, great. So, 6 o'clock your time. Yeah. So 6 to 9 back-to-back classes. Now today we are going to study about the equilibrium level for a producer or seller in a monopoly market. Okay. In the last class we discussed about the equilibrium of, or the best point for a producer or a seller in a perfectly competitive market. Now today we will be studying about monopoly. So monopoly and perfect competition are exactly opposite of each other. Perfect competition, many sellers and many buyers. But in monopoly, one seller and many buyers. There's just a single seller in the market. So since he is the sole seller, so that seller has full control over the market. So he is the price maker. You remember in the perfect competition, the seller was the price taker. He has to take the price which was decided by the market, and the market decides the price on the basis of demand and supply. But over here, the story is different. The monopolist himself decides the price for his product. Okay? So he is the price maker. He is governed by his own rules. He is not answerable to anybody. He has full freedom in the operations. So let's see. In a purely competitive market, the demand curve is completely elastic. Elastic means it can completely vary. It can change very frequently, and therefore it's a horizontal price quantity graph. Yes, Darshana, it's flexible. So a competitive seller can sell as much as he wants at the market price. However, the demand curve for all sellers in the market is downward sloping. Why is it downward sloping? Because as the price for the commodity is going down, yes, the supply is increasing, so the price is going down, and as the price is going down, the demand is going up. That is why. But in pure monopoly, so for a pure monopolist, it supplies the entire market supply. Yes, he is the sole seller, so he is having full control over the market. Like if I talk about the petroleum, so for petroleum, the Gulf countries, they are the sole sellers. They are the monopolist of that particular commodity. Just a second, I'm having a call. Just excuse me for a minute. Yes, okay. Good evening, Shreya. Yes. So, since a monopoly is a price maker, so it will determine what quantity of output will yield the greatest profits. So, but first, let us see how revenue is maximized. That is the only way to maximize the profit. When you get maximum returns on your sales, or when you are able to generate maximum sales for your product, that is when you are going to get the maximum profit as well. So over here, we will assume that the monopolist will only charge a single price for its product and it is not subject to government regulation. Yes, this is an important feature of pure monopoly. Under a pure monopoly market situation, the monopolist is the sole controller of the supply of goods. So he is the price maker and he is also authorized to charge the same price for the charge different price for the same quantity from different people. Okay, like suppose I talk about the petrol only. It may be available at a different price to a country like India, a developing country, India. It may be available at a higher price to a developed country like Japan, China. It will be available at an even higher price to a very advanced country like US. And it may be available at a very cheap price to a underdeveloped country like Uganda, Kenya. Okay, so he is all allowed to do this price variation, price differentiation. That is perfectly legal and he is authorized by the law of the country to do that, the monopolist. And sometimes it is according to the government regulations as well. So that is something to be kept in mind. So in this, when we are discussing right now, we have assumed that the monopolist is charging the same price for the same product from everybody. He is not doing price differentiation. Okay. So the target is to maximize the revenue. So in trying to, I hope it's visible to everybody. The screen, the content of the screen. Okay. So in order to maximize the revenue, the monopolist has a dilemma. The monopolist can only sell more product if it lowers its prices. Yes, petrol is a very rare rare thing about which I am talking. If I talk about a small thing, maybe like if a particular seller is, if a particular food joint owner, he's selling one particular thing, he's a street vendor and he's offering something great. Suppose I say he is offering pav bhaji. You understand pav bhaji, both of you? So that pav bhaji is available at a like it's available at a very high price. Then what will people do? People will not come to that stall. They'll go for other options. So yeah, they'll make it at home also. That is also one option. If you have to pay 150 rupees for just a small slice of pav and a little bit of bhaji, that's not feasible. You have 4 members in the family, so eating that much only will cost you 600 rupees. So it's too expensive affair. So people will avoid it. So although he is the price controller, but yet he has to keep this in mind that he can sell more only if it is going to lower his price. So his demand curve will slope downward because the demand curves generally do, since demand only increases with the decreasing prices. As the prices go down, the demand goes up. So this is his target, to increase the demand to generate more sales. But the marginal revenue means the extra earning which he is doing by selling one additional unit will always be less than the price of that unit, because the monopolist will have to sell all of its units at the lowest price. Okay, so here is one example to make it clear. So except for the first unit, the marginal revenue will always be less than the price. For instance, suppose a monopolist can sell one widget for $100, but it can sell two widgets for 90. Like if he is selling it at $100, he is able to sell one only. But for 90, he can sell two. So that makes it total 180 units. So producing one widget, the monopolist has revenue of 100. Producing two widgets and selling them for 90, a piece yields total revenue of 180. Okay. Therefore, the monopolist's marginal revenue is 80. Like 1 unit for 100 and 2 units for 180. So by selling one extra unit, he is getting 80 rupees extra, $80, etc. extra. But this 80 extra dollar which he is getting, it is still 10 less than the price that is necessary to sell the two widgets. The price for one unit when he is selling two units is 90. So the revenue which he is getting is 80 only. Means by selling two units, extra amount which he is getting is 80. His marginal revenue is 80. So that is less than the 90. That is the cost of one widget. Okay. It is 10 less than the price necessary to sell two widgets. Is it clear? Sandeep, Darshana and Shyam? Okay. So it can only sell 3 widgets at 75. So if he wants to increase sales further, he will lower the price further, $75. So he'll get $225. So now his marginal revenue is 45. Like it was 180. Now 180 minus 225, that is 45. So now it's $45. So as the quantity produced increases, the marginal revenue continually declines until it becomes 0 and then negative. Okay, so he is selling more and more units, or we can say he is producing more and more units, but his marginal revenue is continuously declining. For one extra unit he was getting 80 rupees, but for 3 extra units he is just getting 45 extra rupees. So that is a clear depiction of this fact. So note that this is in contrast to the competitive market, where the competitive firm can sell all that it wants for the market price. There the price was fixed. The price was given by the market and the firms were only to sell their products at that price. So it was not a problem. So its marginal revenue is equal to the marginal price is equal to the market price. That we have seen in the last class with the help of certain graphs. So as the monopolist increases his production, marginal revenue continually declines until it actually becomes negative. So at this point, the monopolist earnings becomes maximum. Monopolist is earning the maximum total revenue. So more production after that point will cause total revenue to decline. Okay. So the monopolist is earning the maximum revenue at this point when he is increasing his production. But if he will go beyond that point, his total revenue will decline. So let us see how this all is determined. Can you see a graph here? 1 minute. Can you see a graph? Sandeep, Darshana, Shyam. Okay. So this green line indicates the market demand and this red line indicates the marginal revenue. So you can see when he is, this is the revenue and cost and this is the quantity. So when he is selling one unit, just a minute. So you can see in this graph that as he is selling more units. As the sale is going up, the marginal revenue is coming down. Like initially it was, the revenue was here, revenue was at this point, and this was the quantity. Now the quantity has increased to this and revenue has come down. Again, quantity is this and the revenue is further less. So this shows the this particular concept. As he is selling more, the marginal revenue means the addition to the total is going less and less, and finally it will become 0 and then negative. Okay. And similarly his demand also is now, if he wants to increase the demand, he will have to keep the cost less. Now you can see here also Hello. All right. So am I audible? Yeah, really, I lost the internet connection. It's little windy, so all of a sudden the connection went off. Now I'm audible? All right. So let's just continue. So now you can see in this demand schedule, the as more quantity is sold, the revenue generated is less. When he's selling 5 units, he's getting this much revenue extra. When he's selling 7 units, now he's getting lesser than what he was getting previously. And with 8 units, he is getting even less. He is at a lower level. So this is why the marginal revenue and the market demand curves are shaped like that. Okay. So now going further. So when the monopolist will increase the production as long as the demand is elastic, because increased quantities yield increased revenue. When demand becomes inelastic, then increasing the quantity more decreases the total revenue. So the monopolist is going to set its price at some point where the demand is elastic. Okay. So now how he is going to determine that point? That is the question. So like the competitive firms, the monopolist will set its price when the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. If you remember in the curves which we discussed in the last class, one essential condition for equilibrium was that marginal revenue curve must be equal to marginal cost curve. So that is one condition over here also. So because as long as marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost, then producing an additional unit will increase the profits. Isn't it? When the revenue, the amount of money which he is getting on extra unit is more than the extra cost which he is incurring, then definitely his profits will be more. Now when marginal revenue equals the marginal cost, then the monopolist looks to the demand curve to see what the price that corresponds to. Okay. Now when they become equal, then he will be focusing on the demand curve to see what price that corresponds to. What is the price at which it should be set? Because it is that point at which the profit is maximum. So if the monopolist increase the production beyond that marginal revenue equals marginal cost, then his marginal cost will be greater for each additional unit than the marginal revenue, which will decrease not only the total revenue, but it will also decrease the profits since the costs continue to increase. Yes, the question is if his cost is more than the revenue which he is getting on extra unit, like he is getting 20 rupees as the extra earning, but he is spending 25 on manufacturing that product. So it is a waste of money because ultimate result is losses only. So he will have a careful watch on the whole picture. Okay. Now this is the graph which is going to help us in this. Now this is, as we have seen, this is the market demand and this is the marginal revenue curve which we have discussed in the previous graph itself. Now in this graph we have 4 main things. One is the demand, market demand. One is the marginal revenue. Then is the ATC or just TC, that stands for total cost. Okay, cost. And we have the marginal cost curve also. This is the marginal revenue, this maroon line. This orange line is the marginal cost. Marginal cost means the extra cost which he is incurring. So you can see this cost is increasing with the increase in the units. Like when it is 1 minute. When it is this, then it is this much. When it is So when his sale is increasing, his cost is also going up. He is producing more units, his cost is also rising from here till here till here till here, as you can see in this orange line. Okay, as the quantity is increasing, the cost is also increasing. Obviously, when we are going to manufacture more units, we'll have to bear extra cost also. So yeah, after this, now you can see in this graph, this is the point at which marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal to each other. This particular point, this point. Okay. Now, in this case, since we are talking about the first situation or the first condition when he is getting profits only, so since he is getting the profits, the monopolist is earning profit, definitely his cost will be less than his revenue. Okay, his cost should be less than his revenue. So that is why the average total cost curve is drawn over here. It is below this line, that is the line of marginal cost. We can say it is beyond this maroon line, that is the line of marginal revenue. Actually, the thing is marginal cost. When he is considering the whole situation, he will focus on the marginal cost. Means per unit extra cost. The per unit extra cost and per unit extra earning should be balanced. If that per unit extra cost is more than per unit extra earning, then he is going to incur loss. But if his per unit extra cost is equal to per unit revenue or per unit earning, then he will have profit. So this total cost line should be drawn under this marginal cost line. Okay, is this clear, Sandeep, Darshana and Muhammad? Darshana, did you understand? Okay, so that is why this total cost line curve has been drawn under this marginal cost line. Okay, so now looking at this is the point of, if you remember in the last curves also, in the previous curve, they are equal at this point now. So from this point we are going to draw a line which is going to touch the market demand, because we want to secure the maximum share of the market. So we are going to make a line till the marginal till the market demand curve. Okay, so till the green line, it should touch the green line. So it is touching the green line at this particular point. Now and the lower point of this should be at the average, at the total cost. It should touch the total cost curve. So this is the point at which it is cutting the total cost curve, as you can see, this particular point. So from here we are going to draw the lines and we'll get a rectangular shape. So this is the monopoly profit. In this case, the monopolist is earning the profit because his cost is less than his total cost is less than his marginal cost. It is below that. So that means he is earning profit. Okay. Now I'll make it a little simpler. I'll draw it on the white so you can understand it better. So this is the marginal revenue. This is the demand, market demand. This is the marginal cost. Now these three will remain the same in every graph, okay, which we are going to study in case of a monopoly market. These three things will remain the same. Now the variation comes with the marginal, with the total cost curve. Okay, now where is this total cost curve going to lie? It is going to lie below the marginal cost. So it will lie somewhere over here. This is the total cost or the average total cost curve. So now this is the point at which the marginal revenue and marginal costs are meeting. They are cutting each other. So from this point we are going to draw a line to touch the market demand. Okay. Now from the lower point of that particular rectangle should be touching the total cost curve. So this is that point. So from here till here, till here, this is the area of profits for the monopolist. Is it clear? Sandeep, Darshana, Muhammad, the plotting of that graph. Okay. Now going further. Now in this case, now what is the, yes, the price. Suppose he fixed the market price at rupees 12. His total cost is 10. So 2 is the difference between the two into number of units sold. Say 100. So 200 is his profit. Okay. Now note that a monopoly does not have a supply curve because it sets the supply according to the demand. So in this case, demand is more important than the supply. Supply is determined on the basis of the demand that is prevailing in the market. Now, how can we summarize this concept? To summarize, the monopolist finds the profit maximizing output by finding that quantity where the marginal revenue equals the marginal cost, then projects that quantity onto the market demand curve to determine what market price corresponds to that quantity. That is why we are drawing a line towards the market demand curve. Now the monopolist economic is then equal to the average revenue minus the average total revenue minus the total cost incurred. So this analysis refutes two common misconceptions about the monopoly pricing. What are those? One is that the monopolist charges the highest prices possible and that it seeks a maximum per unit profit. Obviously, the above analysis demonstrates that monopolies do not charge the highest prices because it does not yield the maximum profit. After all, the highest price could be charged only if the monopolist produced 1 unit of the output. Obviously, it could never cover its fixed cost by producing only 1 unit of output, so it's not going to charge the highest price possible. Yes, this is the misconception in our mind. If we talk as a layman, the first thing that comes to mind is that monopolist sells his products at the maximum price, but that is not true because the maximum price does not give him the maximum profit. Okay, so his profit is maximum at the point at which his demand is maximum. So this now let's see this particular graph. Now you can see here is a widget selling price. When it was $30, he's getting a profit of 100, like he's getting $10,000. When it's 40, it's 120. It's increasing. So when and now look at this, from 60 per unit he's going on to 80. He's increasing his selling price, but then his sale is declining. His total profit is declining. He's getting total profit of $120 only. Okay. And when he's selling at 100, then he's getting the least profit. So this does away with this concept. So since profit maximization is the goal, profits can always be increased as long as the marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost. So hence the monopolist has no interest in maximizing per unit profit. This does not yield the greatest profits to him. Now how a monopolist minimizes his losses? How he will encounter a situation in which he is incurring losses. Now so far, are the things clear to all of you? Sandeep, Darshana, Muhammad? Okay. So it is possible that a monopolist can actually lose money if the average total cost is greater than the price per unit, price that people are willing to pay for any quantity of output. So losses can be caused by a change in consumer taste or by changes in the cost of inputs. Okay, when the taste of the consumer changes, so the demand for his product will go down. Or in case the cost of inputs changes, if they have become costlier, then he will have to balance his sale to make up for the increased prices. So however, if the monopolist cannot make a profit, then it will shut down the firm so it can put the resource to better uses. A monopolist will only produce in the short run to minimize the losses if it perceives that market conditions will change or that it will be able to earn a profit in the future. So like the previous class, we discussed about the short run and the long run. So over here also, we are right now talking about the short run, but in we discussed that in the perfectly competitive market, in the short run, the seller can have either supernormal profit, normal profit, or it can have it can have a minimum of losses or a shutdown point. There were 4 graphs under 4 different conditions. But in case of monopoly, when we talk about short run, the target is only to minimize the losses. What will it do? It will just shut down the firm. The manufacturer will shut down the firm in order to minimize the losses if he feels that the market conditions will change and he will able to earn a profit in the future. So in this case, the monopolist will still produce the quantity where marginal revenue equals the marginal cost, because that is the quantity that corresponds to the market price that will minimize its losses. So let's see, the loss is average total cost minus the price into quantity. It is now the reverse. The cost will come first and the price will come later. Like the cost which we are incurring is 25 per unit. And we are selling the product at 22 per unit. So the difference between the two into 10 units sold. So 30 is the loss which we are incurring, 3 into 10. Okay. Now let's see. The only thing that is going to change from the last diagram is the position of this average total cost. Now this average total cost will be above this market demand. It will be higher than this market demand. Okay, it will be touching the marginal cost curve at a particular point. So now going by this is the point where marginal cost and marginal revenue are equal. So we are going to start from here. The first line should touch the market demand, that is the green curve. So it's touching that. Now from that, the line should touch the average cost line also. So it's touching this pink line also. So let's draw it, and then what we get is the monopoly loss, the loss which he is incurring in continuing the production further. Okay. What is going to change is the position of this average total cost curve. Now the average total cost curve will be over here. It will be above this. It will be somewhere here. So going from this point, I'll draw a fresh one. This is the y-axis, the revenue axis or the cost axis. This is the quantity axis. This is the market demand. This is the won't be negative. I'll just erase it. So this is the total cost. This is the marginal cost line. Now this total cost will be higher than the marginal cost, so it will be over here. Oh, sorry, it won't be a straight line. It will be a curve. What is happening? Just a minute. So it will be a curve much above the market demand, and this it will be touching the marginal cost curve. This is marginal cost, this is total cost, this is demand, and this is marginal revenue. Okay, so this is the point at which marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal. They are touching each other. So from this point a line will be drawn to touch the this graph will be further this side. The line the first its point is that it should touch the market demand curve. So it is touching it over here. Now from there it will touch the total cost line, that is there. So this is the area of loss for the monopolist. Okay, this is the area of loss for the monopolist. Is it clear? So this is how it is like. There are two possibilities. One is of earning the profit and the other is earning the loss. So how the plotting is done, that has been shown. Now there is another part of this, that is the thing which we discussed, like when price discrimination is done, means the same product is offered at different prices to the different kinds of buyers. Like coal is available at a different price for the industrialists. It is available at a different price for the household users. It is available at a different price for the government organizations. So similarly, that is what this means. So this is different market conditions and different curves. But right now we won't be discussing that because it will get really confusing then. So we won't discuss it right now. Okay, we'll be discussing it in the next class. Is that fine? So you can see there are different types of curves over here, graphs over here. So it's useless to discuss that. So what we can do is we can just wind off, and we'll be meeting in the next class, and we'll be doing the second part of this particular topic, that is when the price discrimination is done, how is the maximum profit earning point for seller determined. And what you can do is you can go through your textbooks so that you can have a better understanding of this topic, and you can clarify your doubts in the next class when we'll meet. Okay, Sandeep, Darshana and Muhammad. So everybody, thanks for your time. Have a great weekend and see you all in the next class. Bye then, take care, good night. Next class on Saturday. So we'll be meeting then. Okay then, bye, take care, good night. Please give the feedback by filling the feedback form. Take care. Bye everyone. Please go through your textbooks once. Okay.